What's up, tribe? Listen, we are back again. Um, we are not gonna be before you long because this episode wasn't really giving a whole lot to the end. So we're gonna get through these things because I know why y'all here. I know what y'all want me to talk about. So let's get into it. Captain, you fine, baby. You fine. You fine. You good. You good. You are good. But thank you. But you good, boo. You good. So this episode starts off. Listen, I am convinced. The longer and longer I watch this show, the more and more I'm convinced that I don't think Martina really liked Julia like that. Did you see Martina was trying to make that banana bread? She said, I'm trying to make some banana bread for the boys. She said, I'm trying to double up on this recipe. Can you stop talking to me? Okay? I'm sorry. This is the Real Housewives of Miami season 7, episode 3. They haven't announced the verdict yet, Quake. The jury, at least last I heard, maybe it's something I don't know. Last I heard, the jury had decided, I think, on all of the counts except for count 1. And the judge instructed them to go back and keep trying. Unless something came out in the last 10, 15 minutes. I think we might get it tomorrow. I don't know. Depends on how long it takes them. It depends on how divided they are on on count 1, you know. But Quake, girl, you locked in. The minute it go live, you locked in. You following enough people, you'll get in. Thank you. My granny ain't raised me like that. I had to make sure that you receive it publicly because I felt that foolishness publicly. Well, because I did it, but I appreciate you though. I appreciate. Thank you, Butterfly Rojo said they're going to reconvene tomorrow. Thank you, boo. So listen, I'm just serious. The longer I'm around, the more I feel like Martina. I don't know if Martina really liked you like that because I feel like since season 1. But Martina very much may just be no nonsense and really doesn't want to be on camera like that, but only does it for her wife. Very similar to like a lot of the husbands who really just go through the rigmarole for their wives. They really don't, care to really be a part of all of that. So I think maybe that's kind of what it is too. But anyway, we had that. And much like Martina, I don't think she really liked Julia like that. I don't think Adriana's run a date like her all like that because they was down on the beach and she was trying her best to get a moment out of him and he was just not. I don't know if you paying him and he said that's not in my contract because she really was trying to get something out of him. She told me something, I'm going to go topless. He was like, all right. And then she like took her bathing suit down and she turned around and gave him like the sexy, over your back look with her hands like this. Baby, he wasn't even looking at her direction. Poor Adriana. She be trying. She be trying. Then we had Alexia down to the restaurant because she wanted to have a dinner for Marisol to celebrate her wedding. And of all the restaurants in Miami, of all the places in Miami you could go, you choose the restaurant that you and Todd met. You choose the restaurant where you and Todd met. Okay, girl. Of course, you have to have a moment. You got Frankie with you. Frankie is trying to tell the lady how hard it's been. You're telling her how hard it's been. You have a crying moment, and there you go. They called Lisa because she said everybody has RSVP'd about coming to Marisol's party except for Lisa. She said Lisa just don't call us. Lisa has just not been a very good friend to us lately, and Lisa just don't call nobody. So she calls Lisa. Lisa actually picks up the phone. But unfortunately, Lisa's father has passed away. So she's actually in Canada. So definitely sending our condolences, um, with that. So Alexia goes on to talk about, basically setting up this dinner or whatever. Then we have Marisol getting ready for her wedding. Her and Steve are actually getting married for real this time. They've had like ceremonies in other places, but this time it's going to be legal in the state of Florida. And you know what I thought? Like when Marisol explained why they were doing it, I was like, this has got to be the most practical slash sad slash loving situation. So she talks about how her and Steve met, which was really cute. Her and Steve met because she knew the owner of that house and they were selling the house and they were having, I guess, like one final blowout pool party situation. And she left her bathing suit in the pool house. She met Steve. Steve was at the party because I guess, that's how they do. And she had actually left her bathing suit in the pool house. So her friend called her to tell her, listen, you left your bathing suit in the pool house and the new owner, basically has moved in and, you need to, you need to come and get your bathing suit. And she said she went over to get her bathing suit and she was there for 3 days. And I thought that was so cute. She talks about how much she loves him and everything like that. And she was saying, this is what was so sad to me, y'all. She said, basically they're getting married so they have legal rights to each other if and when one of them passes away. She was like, we don't have any children. And, no, she said, I don't have any children. He has children. She said, I don't have any children. And basically, I need a power of attorney. I need somebody that can make decisions. I need, I need to not be shut out of the room if something happens. And I was like, wow, like that is so sad, but understandable all at the same time. Marisol was like, listen, I got more time behind me than I have ahead of me. And we just got to be practical about these things. So they're actually just getting married to cover the legal, to keep it legal. I think if it had been up to the two of them, they just would have stayed, boyfriend, girlfriend forever. Like, I don't think they were interested in marriage, but this was it. Like, that was it. And I thought that was sad, but understandable. But, it was anyway. Who is Bill? Who's Bill? Steve likes Bill. I think Steve likes Bill. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I don't even know who Bill is. So, and it was so cute. Thank you, Yvette. And it was so cute. They rode on the motorcycle down to the courthouse, and she had on her little dress, and literally it took 15 minutes, and she looked really cute with her riding around with her bouquet and her veil on, and people were honking their horn at them and stuff like that while they were riding around. It was really cute. It was cute. So yeah, there's that. Then we have Lisa and Jody at her dad's funeral again. I'm sorry, for your loss. And this is what I would say to Lisa. And I know Lisa will never see this, but here's what I would say to Lisa. And I mean this with all sincerity. I don't have to be a fan of Lisa's, but this is honestly how I feel about it. Lisa, is this what I would say to Lisa? Forgive yourself. It's okay. Forgive yourself. You and your dad were estranged for a very long time. You and him reconciled. You said that he tried for many, many years to be a part of your life again, and you weren't ready. And by the time you were ready, he was sick, and you guys couldn't really that you were really trying to, you had to do it on your own time. But you did have the last year of your life. Your kids got a chance to meet your dad and be around your dad. And listen, forgive yourself. It is okay. It is okay. So that's what I would say to Lisa. But that was pretty much that. Lisa did it, she was saying she didn't know she wanted to speak or not. And Jody told her she probably would want to speak because if not, she may regret it later. So there's that. You said all I want is a companion. Hold on. Butterfly said, I agree, Quake is giving companion no real passion, but I think it's okay as long as there's love between them. See, I got passion. I feel like I felt something different, y'all. I really felt the love. I did. But I'm with you, Quake. I'm looking for companionship. Listen, I done told y'all, for those of you who are new to Really Be, let me tell you right now, at this point in my life, I don't need a man but for 3 things, okay? Number 1, I need a man that I can talk to, that can make me laugh, that I can have an intellectual conversation with, but I can also be silly with. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I need somebody that likes to travel the way I like to travel. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, I need some good sex. That's it. I ain't trying to be nobody mama. I don't want churn. I mean, at this point, I can't even have no churn. So there's that. But I'm not looking to be nobody's mama. I'm not looking, I don't even need to be married. We don't even need to live together. Like, we could play house a couple of nights a week. And then at the end, either I come back to my house or you go back to your house. I don't even need to be with somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I just don't. Now, I might feel differently. I might meet somebody next week and be in love and want to be all up his ass. I don't know. But I'm just telling you the way I feel today. The way I feel today. Okay. So there's that. Then we have Adriana and Julia meeting up to basically talk about their friendship and the state of their friendship. And listen, normally I probably would have sided with Julia over Adriana because I just find Adriana to be insufferable. I find Adriana to be very, very self-centered, very much what about me, what about what I need, right? But after seeing Julia and the way Julia is acting this season, I don't even know anymore. I mean, Adriana said Julia's not calling her. Julia said, you're not calling me. Adriana said, if I was really your best friend, I would know the fact that you had adopted them twins before the rest of the group knew. Now, I'm going to be honest and tell you, I see Adriana's point on that one. Because let's call a thing a thing. Let's be honest and let's call a thing a thing. These women are not all friends when the cameras are not rolling. I think some of them are friends to each other. I think some of them are friendly to each other. And I think some of them don't talk if the cameras ain't on, right? So I do understand if you and Julia had a real friendship outside of the cameras, I do understand feeling like, so I'm just being lumped in with all these hoes. Like, me and you friends in real life, me and you friends for real, and you mean to tell me I went through this whole process with you, going through the adoption process, the heartbreak of it all, the interviews. I went through all of those things, all of those emotions with you, and when you finally get a baby, not 1 but 2 babies, you mean to tell me I don't even get a phone call? I gotta find out with the rest of these hoes? I would feel some kind of way. I'm not going to tell you no lies, Julia. I would too. I really would. I would feel some kind of way. And to Adriana's credit, because we know she know how to act a fool, she really wasn't being over the top extra about it. She was just saying that she, kind of hurt her feelings a little bit. And she felt like, that she shouldn't have had to find out with the rest of the peasants. So then she says, well, let me make it up to you and let me throw you a baby shower. And why did Julia act like she didn't want her to do it? Did y'all see Julia's reaction? Like, it was a pause. Like, there was a long pause. When she was like, so let me throw you guys a baby shower. And Julia was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, what is the hesitation about? Why are we hesitating? That should have been a straight up, yes, thank you so much. Like, what are we hesitating about? All right. So then we have Gertie and we have Kiki down to the stretch factory. Now, I'm going to be honest. This is something I have been wanting to try, y'all. I had to let y'all know. Maybe that's something I'll put on my summer bucket list. because I think she was probably waiting to see if Marisol or Alexia was gonna do it, if I'm being honest. But neither one of them offered. So, girl, you better get it where you fit in. You better get it where it's getting. I've been wanting to do this stretch thing. A friend of mine, there's a place that stretches that's not too far from my house that a friend of mine went to, and she loved it. Like, she swears by it. And I remember seeing it on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Remember Robin and Juan went to the little stretch place. I do want to try it out, and I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna put it on my summer bucket list. So I have to see how much it costs, because I don't know how much it costs. But so they go down to the stretching thing, and Gertie says, "Listen, Kiki suggested it. This is something that she does." She said, Russell doesn't really want me to keep having these surgeries, so I need to do some things that's going to help me feel sexy. That's going to help me get my sexy back, because, I understand. I respect it, and I understand that he doesn't want me to keep having these surgeries. Like, I get it. I get it. My daughter goes because she plays volleyball. I heard it. Like I said, I've heard great things about it. And y'all know with my leg situation, I'm wondering how it would make how it would help me. So I'm gonna try it. So Kiki, come here. Baby, Kiki got on my nerves this episode. Kiki really did. She got on my nerves this episode. Let me tell you why she got on my nerves this episode. Kiki got on my nerves this episode because I have a problem. Let me rewind before I get into why I'm at, why I had a problem with Kiki. Let me rewind. Kiki is telling Gertie that the girls, that Julia has been kind of saying that, some things about Kiki. She told her about the boat, how Julia felt about the boat situation, and, kind of that the girls have been sort of talking about her, telling her some things. Then Kiki goes on to tell her that, well, the girls feel like you're a lot sometimes. The girls feel like, you're a little over the top, and maybe you need to, tone it down a little bit. Now I have a couple of problems with this. Problem number one I have is, Kiki, girl, you are the last person to tell somebody they're doing too much and you need to tone it down. That's number one. Because, Kiki, you are the same one that was yelling that, you got all in Lisa's face last year when they was on the boat, because Lisa laughed at the dogs, okay? And you was doing a whole lot. I remember in season one, not season one, but your first season, girl, Kiki, you've been doing a lot. Now, I feel like this season you are consciously trying to tone it down. I don't know if production pulled you aside. I don't know if if they pulled you aside and said, listen, girl, you on probation this season. Like, we're going to bring you back. But you were on probation this season, okay? I don't know if that's what it was, but I do see that Kiki is sort of toning it down a little bit, right? But that's number one. I have a problem with the fact that, girl, you have been over the top. Number two, I have a problem with anybody telling somebody to stop being who they are. I told y'all a long time ago, when you meet people and you get to know them, either you can deal with who they are or you can't. And if you can't deal with who they are, then you just choose to not be their friend. Now, I know this is a little different because they're literally getting paid to be friends. I get that. But at the end of the day, for you to go to Gertie and tell Gertie to dim her light, I got a problem with that. I have a problem with that for a couple of reasons. One, like I just said, I have a problem with anybody telling somebody to dim their light. I don't like it. Number two, I have a problem as a Black woman, you telling another Black woman to tone it down. The fact that you are carrying that, you're too much, you're over the top, you're extra. Like, I don't like any of that, right? I really don't like that. Now, exactly, Butterfly Road, Kiki is very crass. Exactly. Now, the third reason why I don't like it is because Gertie is over the top. Gertie does do a lot. But guess what? That is who she has been since the first time we met her on camera. That is who she has been. Gertie has been extra and over the top and talking fast and talking over people and cutting people off. She has been that same person. She has been consistent. So now all of a sudden it's a problem. And now all of a sudden you feel like you have to be the spokesperson for the rest of the group and come back to Gertie and tell her to dim her light. I got a problem with that. Because again, if Gertie was doing something she didn't normally do or being somebody she hasn't normally been, then I might be like, well, you know, Gertie, you acting a little funny. You are being a little funny. But no, ma'am. This is who she's always been. So I don't even like that. Now, the other thing I don't like, and this is something different. I was watching Watch What Happens Live last night. And y'all know I normally don't even be watching Watch What Happens Live, if I'm being honest. But it was still on. Because for those of you who record, y'all know that they'll connect Watch What Happens Live. They'll connect it to the episode. So when the episode went off, Watch What Happens Live came on. And it was Kiki and it was Larsa. So I just kept watching it. You know, it was background noise while I was doing something else. And there was a part where, you know, Andy be asking messy ass questions, right? So there was this part where they were asking Kiki, what question would you ask the ladies? And so they went like person by person. And when it got to Kiki, and when it got to Gertie, Kiki said the question she would ask Gertie is, are you still planning parties? I mean, what are you doing, girl? I'm sorry. You mean the woman that literally has been fighting cancer for the last year? The woman that literally has had like 6 surgeries in the last year, plus around the chemo, plus around the radiation, plus she's still raising her 2 kids in a... I'm sorry. Are you questioning whether this woman, like, is that your slick way of questioning whether this woman still has a business? Like, are you trying to like maybe allude to her not having a business anymore or her no longer being that girl in the party planning business? I'm sure she has scaled it back. I'm sure she has taken time off. I don't believe her business is closed because that would be all through the blogs, but she probably isn't taking any gigs right now. She probably did sit out wedding season this year. I think she's earned that. And I'm sorry, did she call you up to ask for a loan? Like, I heard Russell hurting for the money. Like, did she need to borrow some money from you? I was like, are you serious right now? Like, are you really questioning this woman who's literally going through like the reality is she has the luxury because of her business, because of her success. She actually has the luxury to be able to sit out and recover and be able to take her time and actually go through and not have to rush back to work like most of us would have to do because we got to keep our jobs, our damn 9-to-5 jobs. So I was like, you got to be kidding me right now. I just felt some kind of way about that, y'all. And again, that was on Watch What Happens Live. So if I hadn't seen Watch What Happens Live, I wouldn't even know she did it. But I felt some kind of way about it. I don't know about y'all, but I did. So there was that. So then, and Gertie let it be known. Gertie was like, well, listen, this is who I am. Love me or let me go. Love me, leave me, let me go. Because this is who I am. Whatever. It's going to be what it's going to be. Now, Kiki, just like I just popped you on the hand, I'm going to give you a little credit. Baby, your confessional look in this scene where you took your daughter to the little ice cream museum, baby, that wig, that natural Afro wig, I was loving it. With whatever your makeup was doing, baby, I was loving it. Now, I'm going to give you kudos for that, girl. You look good. You was looking good in that confessional. Now, we saw Kiki take her daughter to the ice cream museum. She was with her mom. And listen, her daughter is a cutie, but baby, all she wanted was some chocolate ice cream. Kiki, you could have saved yourself probably a little bit of money and a whole lot of a headache because all that baby wanted was some chocolate ice cream. It looked like a cute little place, but they have like the different rooms that are like color coded, and like the yellow room had banana splits, and they had an orange room that I guess was probably sherbet, and then they had baby every room that little girl went in. All she was saying, she said chocolate, And the lady would say, no, it's not chocolate, it's strawberry. And then they would go to the next room and they say, you want some ice cream? She said, chocolate. And they would say, no, it's not chocolate, it's sherbet. And that little girl was like, she was like, I know. All I asked for was some fucking chocolate ice cream. I don't know what y'all got going on, but all I wanted was some chocolate ice cream. Okay? That's all I asked for. They finally got that baby some chocolate ice cream. So then we sit down and we hear, so much has happened. I forget we're only in episode 3. So I guess we laid the fact. Yeah, she's a cutie. She's definitely a cutie. So I guess Kiki is laying the foundation for her storyline this season. We see her talking to her mom about making amends with her father. Now, remember, Kiki told the story about her father putting her out the house because he didn't agree with her modeling. He thought that, like, in the Haitian culture, he thought that made like it was like she was a whore. And so they put her out the house, and then her stepmother kind of snitched on her and told the dad she was still doing the modeling. And so she said basically she was on her own from like the age of 17. And she pretty much, took care of herself and had to do for herself. And so it sounds like her father wants to reconcile or wants to make amends or whatever. So it seems like that's the storyline. That'll be interesting. That'll be very, very interesting. Can I say something? And I know that Bravo doesn't like to get political, but I really hope that when they get to the reunion, I really hope they ask these ladies about immigration and how that's affecting their families. Because you have 2 Cuban immigrants. You have, what is Adriana, Mexican? I'm not trying to be ignorant. I just don't know. Is Adriana of Mexican descent? I know Marisol and Alexia are Cuban, and they're white Cubans. So I'm sure, them Florida Cubans. And then we have, the Haitians that are being affected, and where you have Kiki and Gertie both being Haitian. I'm just wondering, I'd just be interested. And then you have a LGBTQ couple. I would just be interested. Again, I know that, like I said, I know Bravo doesn't want to get too political, but I wonder if they're going to bring any of that up. This cast more so than any other cast in the Real Housewives franchise is probably the most affected by these policies. And I'm just wondering, I would really be interested to see if they bring it up. I doubt they will, but it would be interesting to see if there's a conversation about it. Just wondering like how people's families are being affected. Like they just, Donald Trump just revoked the legal status of 4,000 Haitian immigrants, and then, or is it 400,000? I don't want to exaggerate, but I don't want to underestimate either. I know it's a 4. And then, like I said, the Cuban American, the Cubans that are being deported. And then, like I said, the LGBTQ community, which both of them are immigrants as well, right? Martina and Julia are both immigrants. So, yeah, like pretty much their whole cast, except Lisa's an immigrant because Lisa's from Canada. Let me think. Larsa is first. She's a U.S. citizen, but she's first generation. Because both are her parents from. Where are her parents from? Her parents are from somewhere out of the country. Her parents No, that's the Kardashians that are Armenian. I'm not sure. I forgot where Larsa's from, but Larsa's first generation because both of her parents are immigrants. So pretty much everybody on this cast is directly affected by what's happening. Wow, I just thought about that. If Dr. Lisa was still on the cast, I think Dr. Lisa would be the only person. Let me make sure before Lisa's Canadian, Alexia and Marisol Cuban, Adriana is something Latino, Gertie and Kiki are Haitian immigrants. Julia and Martina are both immigrants. There's not one person on this cast. Huh. Interesting. Moving right along. Sorry, y'all. I got sidetracked. My bad. My bad, y'all. I got sidetracked. Okay. So we get through all of that. So we get to the party. I feel like I covered everything. Okay. If I missed anything, y'all drop it in the chat. So we get to the party. It's a surprise party. Marisol doesn't know that they're coming to this surprise party situation. She thinks that Alexia just invited her to celebrate the wedding. She doesn't know it's this whole surprise party. She gets there. Baby, Marisol's got a patch over her eye. She's got a star in her eye. So I am certain if she knew this was going to be a big old party, she had to know it was being filmed because, of course, they had to get mic'd and all of that. But she probably didn't realize it was going to be like a whole cast event. She knew Alexia was going to be there. Maybe she thought Gertie or somebody was going to be there, but she certainly, I don't think, expected it to be the full-on event that it was. So while they're at the situation, here's where we get to the fireworks. Dr. Nicole ethnicity is Cuban and Puerto Rican. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Gimme Shelter. She sure is. Now, you're right. I forgot. Damn. That whole cast could be deported. And I'm not even saying that to be funny. I'm being dead ass. Now, we know they ain't going to deport the white people. Y'all didn't even got to put that in the chat. I already know. But technically, they could be. We know they not. We know Julia ain't got nothing to worry about. Martina, nothing to worry about. But they could be. Moving right along. Okay. We're at the party. We don't care nothing about Steve and Marisol. Their party was just a backdrop to what's really going on. Gertie is there. And now, Gertie, I got to tap on your hand for a minute. When you went over to that bar to order a drink, now, again, I know this is a small thing, but I just got to bring it up. When you went over to order your drink and you ordered you a drink and then you were like, ooh, no tip jar, thank God. Why thank God? I don't know why you said that. I don't understand where that was coming from, but why you don't want to tip them people? What you mean, thank God there's no tip jar on the bar? Like, do you think that's crass? Like, as somebody that does parties, do you think that that's crass to have a tip jar on the bar? Or did you not want to tip them people? I don't know why. I don't know why she said it. But she was just like, no tip jar. Oh, thank God. Like, but it might be a party planning thing. Maybe that's a pet peeve of hers as a party planner, that she doesn't like to see a tip jar. I don't know. But I was like, damn, Gertie, that was kind of fucked up. Julia walks away from the table. First of all, Julia, I think, was drunk. And I'm not giving her an excuse because I still think that being drunk does not excuse you from bad behavior. But I do think she was drunk. Julia is loud. Julia is being loud. When they were like, cheers to Marisol, she's like, yes, cheers to Marisol. And then she gets up and she gives Steve a big old hug. And Steve was like, did I miss something? She was like, no, I just wanted to say congratulations. And then Marisol and Steve kissed, and she was like, yes, kiss again. Kiss again. I like seeing you kiss. Kiss again. Kiss again. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? I mean, did she go get some AC with Jody? Because what the fuck? So then, yeah, she was right. She was being extra and over the top. Exactly. So before we finish with that, let me just go ahead and get Larsa and Lisa out the way. Larsa shows up, and y'all know, we also saw the clip from last week where she's talking about Jody. Now, none of the ladies on camera wanted to go along with what Larsa was putting down. All of them were like, well, that's how Jody looks. Well, it could have been a bad angle. Well, it could have been, it could have been the flash in his eyes. So none of them was going along with what Larsa was trying to put down, because y'all know Larsa was trying to insinuate that Jody was getting some air conditioning, okay? But at least on camera, none of them ladies was going along with it. But you know, who knows what they said when the cameras weren't rolling. Lisa has come along and posted other pictures and said that, you know, Larsa was doing too much, that Jody was fine that night, and there were pictures where he looked perfectly fine. And then Larsa goes on to talk about how she's worried because she feels like Jody is just trying to get Lisa's money, and that, you know, Lisa is letting Jody be a part of everything. It's almost like he's his business manager, and she, you know, she includes him on all her business deals or whatever. Let me say this. If I felt like Larsa was really truly being sincere and trying to be a good friend, I might feel some kind of way and be like, damn, that's messed up. But Larsa is Larsa. And I don't know if Larsa really does feel like, you know what I mean? And girl, Lisa, what money? I mean, she's probably getting a little piece of change from Lenny, you know, until this divorce is final. I mean, we know he's paying for where she lives, and I'm sure she gets a nice little child support check. And the reason why I say little is because to the rest of us, it probably ain't no little child support check. But for Lisa, who I'm sure has to maintain this lifestyle, I'm sure, you know, it's relative, right? But again, do I really think Larsa is worried about Lisa and Lisa's best intentions? I don't. I just don't believe that. But it is something to think about. It's definitely something to keep in the back of our mind, because I mean, doesn't Jody have money? I mean, does Larsa know something we don't know? Like, have you Googled him and the money ain't really money in? You know, is it just paper money and it ain't real money? Is it just, you know, assets but not liquid? Like, what you know that you're not telling us, Larsa? Like, what do you know, Larsa, that you're not telling us? Anyway. So let's get back to Gertie and Julia. So Julia's walked away. She over there being extra. And Gertie tells the ladies, yeah, so Julia's been talking shit about me. Like, I mean, you know, Julia, she been talking about me all summer. She's been saying how she don't like this and she don't appreciate that. And so Larsa was like, girl, why don't you just talk to her? Like, she's literally here. If you got a problem, talk to her. And the minute Gertie opens her mouth to try and talk to Julia, Julia immediately gets loud. She starts yelling. She starts over talking Gertie. And again, I'm thinking to myself, weren't y'all just saying she's extra and she's over the top? Weren't y'all trying to insinuate that Gertie is the one with the problem? Yet Julia is the one walking around here acting like a wild banshee, or in Gertie's words, a hyena. And she was. She was acting like a damn hyena. She was being extra and loud and just annoying. So then they get on this conversation about this cruise situation. Now, Gertie is telling the story. Do I believe Gertie's story? Yes, I do. I believe Gertie's version of events. Do I think Gertie was being, that there might have been parts where Gertie was being a little extra? Sure. Yeah, we all do that when we tell a story. Well, oh, did y'all see that lightning? When there's a story to tell, we all feel that way, right? We all want to tell our side of the story, right? Right. She said, don't produce me. Right. Don't produce me. So the minute she said that, of course, now Gertie is like, girl, what you talking about? All right, y'all, the storm is coming. Let me hurry up and finish this out before the storm. Y'all hear that thunder that just rolled through here? Let me hurry up and get off of here. So as the story goes, they went on this cruise, and basically what it sounds like is that Gertie did get a lot of what was intended for Martina. She said she got Martina's massages. She said that, she ate at the different meals, but it was just the one meal that Gertie didn't get into that was the issue. And she was like, Gertie, it's not a big deal. Chill out. Now, Gertie, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say, if you did 99% of the things, and there was only one situation that you were not a part of or you were not invited to, I do understand why Julia would feel some kind of way, even though Julia invited you and you went as a favor to her. But if you did 99% of the things and it was just one situation, now that does not excuse Julia's behavior, because I think Julia was doing a lot and being extra. Okay, let me be clear. That does not excuse Julia's behavior, but it sounds like you was living it. Now, you also said that Julia didn't explain to you what the medical emergency was with Martina. Again, I'm going to be honest, because I'm going to be honest. Y'all might not like what I'm saying, but I'm going to be honest. Again, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say, Gertie, you know that woman just got over having cancer. I would assume it was something to do with her cancer. First of all, I would assume it ain't my business. And I understand that you and Julia were friends, like for real friends outside of the show. So maybe you felt like an explanation was warranted. But if somebody calls me and says, hey, I need you to do me a favor. My husband is having a medical situation right now, but there's an event that we have to go to. Can you please take his place? And I go, and I know he literally just got over cancer. Like the only thing I would be concerned about is he having a relapse? Did the cancer come back? Do you need, like, is there something going on that you need? But I don't feel like anybody is obligated to share their medical situation with you. Even though she said she was going to tell you, if she never told you, she just never told you. So Gertie, I do feel like if that was true, I feel like that was a bit extra, okay? Now, according to Julia, it's not true. Julia says she did tell you what was going on with Martina, and it had something to do with her cancer. Now, the flip side of that, though, is Gertie kept talking, and Julia was telling her to shut up. And then Julia decides that she's going to shut Gertie up with her drink and proceeds to throw the drink on Gertie. Now, remember yesterday, biopsy. Thank you, Yvette. She had a biopsy. Remember yesterday when we were talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, or Sunday, and I said to you guys then, I said, I don't condone violence, and I don't think that violence should be people's first option. However, there are times when I understand a violent response to things. The way I'd have drug her ass. Because it wasn't just the throwing of the drink, it was everything leading up to the throwing of the drink for me, right? It wasn't just the fact that she threw the drink, it was the yelling in my face, because Gertie tried to walk away. Gertie literally got up and took her purse like she was going to leave. Now, y'all know that this was edited because it is the Real Housewives. This scene probably went on a lot longer than what we saw. So somewhere, Gertie came back. But Gertie did literally stand up with her purse and was saying her goodbyes. So I don't know if production made her come back. I don't know if the ladies told her to come back. I don't know why she came back. But she came back, and Julia is literally standing over her, pointing in her face, and then proceeds to throw her drink on her. Gertie, Julia needed her ass whooped. Julia needed exactly, Butterfly. I feel the same way. Like, just out of reflex. Just out of reflex. So at at this point, Gertie doubles down, and now she really ain't going nowhere. And she proceeds to basically let it be known, no, I'm not, I'm not going anywhere. If she want to act the fool, she can act the fool. She's embarrassing herself at this point, and I'm not leaving. Now, Kiki, come here, girl. Here's another. Come here. I got another one for you. Bring your ass down here. You got up in your damn confessional and said, if it were me, after somebody threw a drink on me, why would I want to stay there? I don't understand why. Why would I want to stay there and tell somebody to bring it on? So Gertie was wrong for staying? You ain't had no words for Julia? You didn't have nothing to say about Julia throwing the drink on Gertie and why that was a problem and why that was out of pocket? But Gertie was wrong for choosing to not leave? I'm sorry, what? I got more of a problem. See, I know y'all want me to cuss Julia out. I got more of a problem with Kiki right now than I have with Julia. Now, don't get me wrong. Julia deserved to get her ass whooped. But I'm really side-eyeing Kiki because I'm like, where's this coming from Kiki? Okay, Nikki says Julia was being aggressive with Gertie and getting in her face. Production should have intervened. Production never intervenes. I mean, when I say never, never's a strong word. I shouldn't say never intervene. But production, no, I don't think that warranted production intervening. I mean, the ladies get in each other's face all the time. And there's a point where, now I think if Gertie has stood up, now once Julia threw that drink, I feel like if Gertie had stood up, then I feel like it would have been people flying from everywhere. People would have been flying because they would have been waiting for Kiki. I mean, they would have thought that Gertie was about to smack the shit out of Julia. Now they would have got in there with that one. Right. And then she's pulling Gertie away. Yeah, like Gertie did something wrong. I'm side-eyeing Kiki on this one. Like, I'm really like, girl, what is going on with you? So I feel like, so then, they bring out the cake and all of that. And now Julia is over there with her white woman, tears, crying, talking about something. Take the mic off of me. I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, you're embarrassed because everybody was looking at you crazy. Because now I will say this. None of the ladies chastised Julia, but none of them defended her either. Like, I didn't see anybody saying, Julia, you were wrong. Julia, why'd you do that? Julia. But none of them was coddling Julia's ass either. The only person that was coddling Julia's ass, and she wasn't even really coddling her, but I think Julia just walked up to her and put her arm around her, was that damn Larsa. And that's why I say I don't think she was really coddling her, because Larsa don't coddle nobody. I think Julia walked up to Larsa, and Larsa was kind of like, okay, girl, hey. I think it was sort of like okay, you standing here. I guess you want me to, put my arm around you. But I will say that, like, none of them women acted like Marisol, Alexia, like all of them. Even when Kiki was pulling Gertie away, and Kiki was telling Alexia was like, girl, what you want me to do? And she's kind of nodding towards Julia, like, get Julia. Alexia was like, girl, what you? And then Alexia did get up, but it was like, Alexia was like, girl, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Because I feel like, even though people might feel like Gertie is doing too much sometime, or Gertie is over the top sometime, I feel like in that moment, I don't feel like anybody really had Julia's back in that moment. Even if they felt like Julia had a legitimate defense, which I don't think they did. I don't think they felt like Julia had a legitimate defense. But I definitely feel like in that moment, they were all like, girl, what the fuck is going on? Larsa did say Julia was wrong for doing that. And I think Kiki said that she was wrong too on Watch What Happens Live, but I don't remember, Nikki. I don't remember. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But yeah. So ultimately, that was, the episode pretty much ended there with the ladies cutting the cake and stuff like that. But I'm not understanding why Kiki is acting the way she's acting. I honestly feel like I'm gonna be pissed off at Kiki before this is over with, because I'm not understanding. Because she was even sort of doing the same thing on Watch What Happens Live. It was like she didn't want to come right out. She didn't want to come right out and say that Julia was wrong. I don't know. It was weird. Now we know that Julia has come out and given her little, iOS press release apology, talking about she was going through a lot. And, that was her way of basically getting us ready for this. Like, we knew, we were like, oh, it must be some bullshit coming, because why she out here apologizing before the episodes even come out? So I feel like we're going to see a couple of more of these little outbursts. But at the end of the day, clearly what this all boils down to is Julia done found some new friends. Now, the one thing I will say is, why Gertie gonna call Julia out for getting a facelift while Martina was in New York going through chemo? Now, look. I don't know what those women discussed. When I say women, I mean Martina and Julia. I don't know what those women discussed as it relates to their marriage. And maybe Julia already had that surgery scheduled, and Martina told her to go. I don't know. Maybe Martina said, girl, go get that facelift because you can't do nothing here. Like, go get your facelift and come back. Like, I don't know what conversation they had. So, but I will say this. That's not a good look, Julia, that your ass was getting plastic surgery while your wife was fighting for her life. It wasn't a good look. It definitely wasn't a good look. And on Watch What Happens Live, Kiki once again had the nerve to be like, oh, I think, I don't think it was the right time for her to bring that up. Why would she bring that up? You mean after that woman threw a whole drink in her face, she can't go low? She can't hit below the belt? She can't say nothing about this woman having a facelift while her wife was going through chemo, and that woman literally has been all in her face, pointing fingers, yelling, and threw a drink in her face? That's a problem? How sway? See, that's that bullshit that I be talking about. Now, if Gertie had slapped the shit out of Julia, then everybody would be up in arms and be wanting Gertie to get fired. So Gertie didn't physically put her hands on Julia, but what she did do was call Julia ass out and tell the whole world that Julia was off having plastic surgery while her wife was going through chemo. She's still wrong? She's still wrong? She didn't put her hands on that woman after that woman assaulted her, because that is assault. She threw that drink in that woman's face. That's assault. And she didn't retaliate physically. She retaliated with her words. And she's still wrong? Yeah, Butterfly. Gertie was like, I'm going to get my lick in how I can. I'm going to get my lick in however I can get it in. Right, Gertie was not wrong. I agree, Nikki. Gertie was not wrong. Now, y'all know that sometimes I don't always agree. Y'all know that. I'm be honest with y'all. Sometimes I do not always agree with the people going low. But in this case, I 100% support that. I support it. Y'all got this black raspberry LaCroix from the grocery store today. This is delicious. Now it tastes better cold. It tastes better cold because this one got a little warm, but it's delicious. If you like sparkling water, and you like LaCroix, try this one. Try the black raspberry. It's good. It's really good. Anyway. So anyway, that was the episode. Now look, y'all know that tomorrow's my birthday. And we're going to be having my birthday party tomorrow night. So I will not be watching, nor will I be doing a review tomorrow. And I'm going out of town on Thursday. So y'all probably not going to get y'all Real Housewives of Miami review until Sunday. Okay. But with that being said, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Y'all know I'm trying to get caught up. I know that was last week's episode. After this week, I should be able to get caught up on everything because, like I said, I'm going and hanging out with my girls for the 4th of July weekend. But I should be back either Saturday evening or Sunday, early Sunday morning. Just I haven't decided when I'm coming back yet. So either Thursday, so you'll get it on Sunday. Either way, you'll get the review on Sunday, okay? All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Wait a minute. Gertie did say in the interview that only one who has her back during this season was Adriana. If Nicole was still on there this season, yeah, I definitely believe that. Yeah, Nicole would have definitely had her back. Yeah. Her and Nicole are friends in real life. Like at least I know they did, but I think they still do. They hang out for real, for real. Like I think they're still friends in real life. I know at one point they really were friends in real life. All right, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to stay up until midnight, and then I'm going to go to bed. Although last night I stayed up till like 2 a.m, so I'll be up after midnight. All right. Hey, Lemon Kush Pepper. Hey, boo. Yes, gang, 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 gang. All right, y'all. I'm out.